Hello. Hi. It is me. It is I. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. My name is Ivy, also known as the Witchypreneur, and this channel is all about supernatural, spiritual, mystical, and magical things. We are going to be talking about some tarot decks that are going to be coming out in 2024. Most specifically like spring 2024. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to be going over some tarot decks starting off from February all the way up until April or May of this year and see what amazing tarot decks are going to be coming out. I wanted to make sure that they were decks that you were able to like get anywhere no matter where you are in the world. So I went with Amazon, and one of them is called like US Games, but they're available on Amazon as well. So let's get started. First, a deck comes out on February 8th, and it is called the Mystic Palette Tarot Deck. Beautiful. Honestly, this deck is very beautiful. I love the colors, the vibrancy. I love how there's like a sunset and some sort of like time of day or night that sort of symbolizes each card. I feel like this deck is also full of a lot of imagery and like symbolism. You can take a look at the photos and really dissect different meanings to each of these cards. It definitely is a very modern take on the tarot. It strays very much away from the typical traditional tarot decks that we see nowadays. However, it still contains some classic elements to it that you can sort of almost compare to like the original Rider-Waite tarot that a lot of people compare to. It looks like a nice deck, honestly. It looks very modern. For me, personally, it doesn't call to me, but if this is your cup of tea, I mean, it does look like a really nice deck, and this will be out on February 8th. It is already available for pre-order, and you can get it on Amazon for $32.99 US. The next deck that we're going to talk about, this one I found on US Games, and this one is going to be out on March 2024. It doesn't give me a specific day, and it is called the Old Style Tarot. This deck I really like because it still keeps with the classical elements of the Rider-Waite tarot while still having its own little, I don't know, like traditional, like medieval ages, dark ages, sort of like Renaissance vibes. And I don't know, it just still keeps those classic elements while still adding something new yet classic to it at the very same time. I like that like balance between like classic and newly classic, I guess. I used to be the type of person that did not like the Rider-Waite deck at all until I actually bought it, and it became like my most widely used deck, and I am absolutely obsessed with it now. So I actually really am drawn to this one. I might actually pick this one up, and like I said, this one is going to be available in March, and it is going to be available for $23.99 US. The next deck is going to be available on February 8th, and it is called the Wild Lambs Tarot Deck. This one will be available for mass market on Amazon.com, and you're available to pre-order now for $29.99 US. And this one I really like because this one it looks very like modern looking, and I love how each different tarot card pretty much looks like a Polaroid snapshot, like a Polaroid camera. I just think it gives like that classic 90s vibes while adding this like beautiful, whimsical, almost like etheric feel to it with the actual photos that are depicted on it. It really combines something like very nostalgic, like Polaroid camera pictures and photos, combined with like the modern look that we see on a lot of like tarot and oracle decks, like the Starseed Oracle and the Work Your Light Oracle. Like those are all decks that have that like modern-y sort of twist to it. There's the Muse Tarot that has that sort of like vibe to it as well. And it has like these like very pastel, whimsical, like etheric looking colors and depictions and illustrations. So while I am very drawn to this look because it's very beautiful, I don't know if I can get much out of this deck other than like the traditional meanings. It's not calling to me at the moment, although I do agree that it is a very beautiful deck. The next tarot deck that I want to talk about is the Tarot of the Gnomes, and this one comes out on February 8th. This one is also going to be available on Amazon, and it's already available for pre-order for $25.95 US. And this one is so cute. Okay, So I've been talking about gnomes for a while now. I haven't talked about it really on my channel. Gnomes seem to be like almost following me everywhere I go. I somehow see a gnome. It doesn't even have to be like on a property. It could just be like at a restaurant. There's just gnomes everywhere, and I never really noticed them up until like a couple months ago, and I'm seeing them everywhere, even on TV at like random moments, and I'm like, why do I keep seeing gnomes? And I feel like they're sort of like my spirit guide right now. Like that's my newest spirit guide that's been like added to my spirit team, so I feel very connected to gnomes right now. I really do think that I might get this deck. However, the only thing that sort of steers me away from it is that it does seem like it's a pip deck. If you guys don't know what a pip deck is, it means that a lot of the cards you don't really have too many like illustrations, as in like the major arcana has like the illustrations with the gnomes. I call them gnomes. I know they're gnomes. And like, while the rest of the cards just have like a simple look to them, and some people really do like that. Me personally, I like to get not just the traditional meaning of a card, but be able to get a little bit more with the illustration that I see and pick up a little bit more on the actual message. So I feel like I can't get that with pip decks, so that might turn me off from it, and the only way that I would probably purchase this one is if I just use it strictly for the major arcana. But I do like it, and I like how it's like in another language as well, not just English. I don't know what language that is actually. But it is such a cute deck. I love the illustrations. The next deck that I want to talk about comes out on March 5th, and it is called the Adventure Tarot deck. And this one is, yes, another one that you can get on Amazon that is already available for pre-order for $24.99 US. Just the cover, like when I first looked at it, I only saw like the deck. There was no other illustrations, but now they have added what the actual cards look like, and I'm still very drawn to it. It gives me very like Good Karma tarot deck vibes. It sort of like looks like those sort of illustrations where the characters are a little bit more simplistic, but you can see their facial expressions. They're just not fully detailed, but it does give like a very like relaxing, chill, modern sort of vibe. I don't know, there's something about this deck that like draws me to it. I don't know if it's like how fully colored and vibrant each of these cards are. Simplistic yet still like modern and illustrious illustrations. Does that make sense? I don't know, there's something about this deck that I'm very drawn to that I really like, but let me know what you guys think. The next tarot deck is called Tarot Landscapes, and this one also comes out on March 5th, and yes again, you are able to purchase this on Amazon.com, and it is available for pre-order for $24.64. This deck I really wanted to put on here just because I thought it was just such a unique concept. So usually when we think of tarot decks, we either think of pip decks, or we think of decks like the Rider-Waite Tarot, where there's a lot of like characters and movement, and you see like people's facial expressions, whether they're animals or whether they're humans. But this one is strictly just landscapes, and you get vibes, I guess, based off of the different landscapes to sort of associate with each and every one of the cards. It provides like a unique way to use the tarot. Instead of focusing on like people in the tarot, maybe it's just like the emotions, maybe it's just the feels, maybe it's just the vibes. You can use that tarot deck specifically directed towards internal emotions, subconscious thoughts, versus like actually associating it with different people, and more focusing on what's going on behind the scenes versus like externally, more like internally, if that makes any sense. I like to use different tarot decks for different things, so this is something that I would probably associate this deck with, that like subconscious emotions. Like me, I need a different deck for different things, and I feel like this one would be a deck that I use specifically just for like subconscious, what's going on behind the scenes, internal conflicts that you might be facing that doesn't really associate with external people or situations. And you can get it for $19.95, and it is the Dog Tarot, and this one I really do want to get. So if you guys have been watching me for a while, or you guys have seen some of my tarot videos, you guys may or may not know that I made a video a while back where I talk about like messages from your pets that have passed on, and I use strictly like animal themed tarot decks for that. And I do still do readings where I pick up on the energy of like the deceased animal, and they have like messages for you. So if it's a cat, I'll get like a cat deck. If it's a dog, I get like a dog deck. And I have this deck called the Cat Tarot, and this one is basically the dog version of that. It's the same creators, same sort of illustrations, and it looks so beautiful and it looks so cute. I really enjoyed that cat tarot deck, and I know a lot of like clients enjoyed it as well, so I'm pretty sure that people would really enjoy the dog one as well. I just think it's really cute, very like classic cartoony. It almost looks like it's like colored in by like crayons. It's so cute. So that one is the dog tarot. Now, speaking about animals, the next tarot deck that we're going to talk about is called the Bee Tarot, and this one comes out on April 8th. And yes, again, like I said, it's available on Amazon for $32.99. And this deck looks so cute. The reason why I picked this one specifically is because my fiance, he loves, like, bees are like his spirit animal, I guess. They like follow him around. He always sees like bees. Whenever he's looking for a sign, like a bee will just like appear out of nowhere, and it's just like crazy. So I really like this deck because of that. I just associate it with like him, and I just think the illustrations are gorgeous, and it gives me like the actual illustrations remind me of the Everyday Witch Tarot. I'm not sure if it's the same illustrator, but they're just so beautiful. And I just feel like even though yes, it's a bee tarot, there are still like humans in it. You can get a lot of symbolism and messages behind the cards, just like looking at every single detail, the time of day, the background, where they're at, how the people are posed, what's around them, what's behind them, what's in front of them. Like, this is a very like detailed deck. So even though yes, it's the Bee Tarot, there is still so much depth to this tarot deck. The last tarot deck that we're going to talk about is called the Change Tarot. This one comes out on April 16th, and it is going to be sold on Amazon for $24.99 US. Now, I only have one picture for this one. It's this one. And I know it's a very like simplistic picture. This is all that I have, but for some reason, personally, I am drawn to it. It gives me classic Rider-Waite tarot vibes, but the colors are obviously a lot more like contrast and very like sparse. Like it's not as like vividly colorful. I don't know, there's just something about this deck. It almost gives me like a modern feel, again with like a classic Rider-Waite vibes, that I'm just drawn to. I don't know if it's because I just love the Rider-Waite deck so much, but this is a deck that you're actually supposed to be able to combine psychological and spiritual exploration with. So I'm interested on how they're going to tie all of that in. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the guidebook. I'm not sure if there's going to be something associated with every single one of the cards, and being able to provide that insight. I just think that it gives a very unique take for the tarot if they do that and put like psychological things in there. I think that's very interesting because I love like my spiritual stuff, but I'm very like sciencey too at the same time. Anyways, you guys, that is it for all the tarot decks that are going to be coming out for the springtime during the first few months of 2024. Please let me know what decks you guys are interested in and which ones you think you're going to be checking out. I know I have quite a few that are going to be on my list now. And yes, so if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. I usually post once a week. I do talk a lot about tarot, so if you're new to tarot, I do have a whole bunch of videos where I talk about tarot, and I just pick card readings, and I talk about paranormal stuff and all that. So yeah, so anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!